Welcome to another episode of Kookievision. In this video, I'm going to be making a bluebird. So I've got some sky blue here that I've mixed with a touch of brown to kind of mute it a little bit. And this is a piping consistency blue in a piping bag fitted with a number 2 tip. And I'm outlining the entire bird, disregarding its belly and its beak. And I'm going to be flooding in the area I just piped with a flooding consistency in a squeeze bottle of the same color. And I'll just use my scribe tool to even everything out and get rid of any air bubbles. Now I want this blue to crust over a little bit before I add the belly, and I'm using a piping consistency pale yellow here. This is a number 2 tip, and I'm outlining his belly and then using the same piping consistency to give him a short little stubby beak, and I'm going to flood it in with the same color in a flooding consistency in a squeeze bottle. And I'll also use my scribe tool to even everything out and get rid of any air bubbles. And I'm going to want to let this crust over again before I move on to the next step, which is the wing. And I'm also going to flood that part in as well, just to give it a little bit of extra dimension. So I'm piping the outside with a piping consistency blue again with a number 2 tip. And I'm just going over top of where I want the wing to be, kind of partially overlapping the belly. And I'll flood it in with the blue of the same color in a squeeze bottle. Now I want to note that blue likes to bleed into things, so you might have to leave a little bit of extra time between steps if you do have problems with color bleeding. Setting your cookies in front of a fan, which is what I always do anyways, is a great way to kind of combat color bleeding. I don't have a whole lot of problems with color bleeding, but it can be a huge problem, especially in the summer when it's hot and humid outside. Now I've let my backgrounds dry overnight. Again, you don't have to let them dry overnight, but I always do my flooding one day and then my details the next, because it's just what works for me and I'm often doing a lot of cookies, so it's good to break down the steps that way. I've got some white dye here that I've mixed with a touch of vodka, and I'm splattering it at the birds with my finger and a brush. Now this part's totally optional, but I seem to have a infatuation with splattering things. It's kind of become a Sweethart signature for some reason. I just like the look of it, but it's totally optional. I've also done the same look with chocolate brown and gold luster dust mixed with vodka. That also looks really nice. I've got some pink petal dust here that I've put onto a cotton swab, and I'm just putting some on his belly, and I'm going to wipe away the excess with a brush. Kind of gives him a nice rosy belly. I've also got some of that piping consistency yellow that we used earlier with a number 1 tip, and I'm re-outlining that seam between his belly and his head, just to kind of neaten up that seam a little bit. I've also got a number 1 tip fitted on my piping consistency blue again, and I'm just giving him some little decorations, feather decorations on his tail and his wing. Now I've got a black food art pen here. This is a food dye marker, and this one's made by Rainbow Dust. And I'm just giving him an eye with a few little eyelashes. And I've also mixed together some gold luster dust with a touch of vodka. I'm just going to put it on his beak. Now you could totally leave it yellow. It's up to you. I just like that little added extra sparkle. And there we go, a finished bluebird in among all these cute spring flowers that I also made. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like me on Facebook and on Instagram. Bye!